Welcome to the new client tutorial. I'm going to show you how to add new clients, edit the data, add contact history logs, and adding ancillary policies and editing ancillary policies associated with the client. So let's get started. As you can see, this is our client table view, and here we can see all of our clients associated with us. Here we can filter out the data that is shown in this table. So if we would like to search for John, we'll see that only John appears. If we'd like to search by the last name Howard, we can do so as well through that field or through this last name search field. In addition to this, we can also search by email. So for instance, if we were looking specifically for John Doe, we would find them through here. In addition to these three text-based search filters, we have drop-downs as well. The first one being ancillary type. So let's say John Doe has a few ancillary types to their name. In this case, when we click on Open Ancillary Policies for the row John Doe, we can see that he has a hospital type or hospital ancillary policy type. So if we were to click on hospital, we only see John Doe. And it should be noted that this dropdown is not multi-select, it is single select. So if you are looking for an ancillary policy type, you can only search for one type at a time. In addition to this, we also have the policy status that we can search by. So if you'd like to search by only leads, you can click on here to search only by leads. If you want to search by both active policies and leads, you can click on active policy, and here we'll see the active policies in addition to any leads that we might have. So just to show you how that works, if we were to update this to lead and remove active policy from our search criteria, we see that only leads are populated in our table. The same thing applies for our source. So if we're searching only by email, we'll see only results that have a source of email. Otherwise, if we remove all of our selections, then it'll search for any source. Similarly, for policy type, if we're searching only for under 65, we can do so like so. And this is multi-select. And let's say we want to search for policies that do not have any ancillary policies associated with them, then we can click on the switch to hide ancillaries. So here we see Ryan Howard, and if we click on Open Ancillary Policies, they do not have any ancillary policies to their name. In addition to this, we can also use filters. So for instance, as you can see, it seems like there is not a policy with the last name Gomez that doesn't have ancillary policies with a policy type of under 65. So these can be used interchangeably with each other. So that way, it provides the user with the best ability to search and refine results. So let's go ahead and clear our filters. And now we can see all of our search results. So let's go ahead and add a new client by clicking on the new client form. Here, we can click and add a new client, and as you can tell, all of these fields that are highlighted in red have a subtext of required field, meaning that these fields have to be filled in order to add a client. The Add New Client button will be disabled until then. So let's go ahead and make a new client. And let's say they're a lead. We'll click on Add, and a new policy holder was added. Now let's say you are adding multiple clients all at once, and you need to quickly clear the form and re-add a new client. So we can go ahead and clear the form, and it starts from new. In addition to this, now we can see Bill Roberts is in our table. So if we go ahead and click on Edit, we'll see that the form that we saw previously for the new client form, however, this time it details who we're updating and it autofills their information if it was filled in previously. So let's go ahead and put in a dependent. And here we can see the dependent name. So if we collapse it, it makes it easier to know what was inserted. And let's say we want to add an additional client or an additional dependent. And we can click on 2. And we can collapse these both. And then we can update our client. And here we can see the client was updated successfully. If we expand their policy, we can see additional information about the policy. So here we can see the email, address, city, state, zip code, in addition to their policy information. And then here, we can also see their dependents. Okay, so we've covered adding a new client and updating a client. So let's go ahead and cover adding contact history. So now, depending on the client, you can open their contact history. And because this is a new client, we won't have any contact history. However, let's say we met Bill at a flea market. And here we can add our contact history log. And we'll see the contact type, and when we contacted them, notes, and the date that it was created and who it was created by. If we go ahead and clear the form, let's say we have multiple notes and we contacted them by phone. Here you can see that the contact history log gets updated with each edition of contact history. Let's say we email them as well. And here you can see that the contact history log automatically becomes scrollable, so you can see the latest entry that you placed. This will automatically sort by the latest entry, not necessarily by the contact date. And now we can log out. Here, I'm going to talk now about the ancillary policies. So it's very similar to the contact history log. Here we can see whose ancillary policies we're editing and adding to. And here we can see all of the pre-existing ancillary policies in addition to the policy form. So if we go ahead and click on ancillary type, we can see a variety of different types. So we can select dental, click on their effective date to be the 13th of this month. And now we can add our ancillary policy. Similar to the other forms, we have required fields here. And unless these fields are added to, they will not enable this button. So this button will only be enabled once the required fields are filled in. So we click here, and now we can see that we've added a new ancillary policy for Bill Roberts. And if we hover over each field, we can see what each field corresponds to. So the first thing is the carrier, the second number is the policy number, and the third field here is the effective date. And this is the ancillary type, who it was created by, and the creation date. Now let's say you had to modify the ancillary policy because it actually wasn't dental, it was something else. Then here, when you click on the pencil, as you saw previously, it says edit ancillary policy. And if we click on ancillary type, we can change it to hospital, change the carrier, let's say change the effective date alongside the policy number. And now we can see the fields have been updated. And now we have a new field here that shows who updated it and when. Let's go ahead and clear this form. And now you can see that you can add a new ancillary policy. All right. So that covers adding a new client, editing a new client, adding a contact history log, adding ancillary policies, editing ancillary policies, and how to filter data. In addition to this, some other good things to note are shortcuts. So here, let's say we know Bill Roberts is now an active policy. We can click on this chip and it will automatically update the policy to an active policy. Let's say we were mistaken and Bill Roberts is actually a lead. Then we can click back and it'll automatically convert Bill Roberts to a lead. In addition to this, we also have the ability to filter the number of rows that are present in the table. At the current moment, since there are a low number of rows, you won't see much of a difference. However, you can select between 5, 10, 15, and 20 rows to appear in the table all at once. So if you have a large number of clients that you would like to see all at once, you can select the highest option, which is 20. And this will automatically ensure that the first 20 of your clients appear in the table. In addition to this, the table also supports pagination. So if you have 100 clients, then you should see 5 different pages. All right, so that covers data modification. In the next tutorial, I'm going to go over exporting client data.